Our next guest is a truly fascinating gentleman. He happens to be 93 years old, and he is the father of public relations. In the course of his 70-year career, some of his clients have been Presidents Wilson, Hoover, Coolidge, and Eisenhower, Thomas Edison, Eleanor Roosevelt, and Enrico Caruso. It's a pleasure to welcome Dr. Edward Bernays. Hi, Doctor. Good to see you. Come on up over here. There you go. Have a seat right here. Thank you very much for being here. I mentioned to the people how old you were. I hope you don't mind me telling them that. And what kind of a doctor are you? What is your...
Let me say, first of all, that everybody has 5 ages, and they don't match. I happen to be 93 chronologically. Right. But I'm 61 physiologically. Mentally, I don't know, I suppose I'm 45. And societally, how I adjust to other people, I wouldn't quiver. If I saw poor Mr. Reagan, I'd say, "Hi, Reagan." And emotionally, I won't tell that to anybody.
So now you won't tell your emotional age to anybody?
No. Will you tell yours?
Well, based on your statistics, I've passed on weeks ago.
I'll accept that.
It was a lovely service, and I'm sorry you couldn't be there, but... all right, now, Doctor, tell me again what the doctor is. What are we dealing with?
Well,
you're the father of public relations.
What we're dealing with, really, is the concept that people will believe me more if you call me doctor.
Oh, I see. That's a good idea.
And actually, I am doctor because 2 universities gave me honorary degrees.
All right.
One was Boston University, and the other was Babson College.
So you're making the most of those degrees. Well, let's talk a little bit about public relations. You've been doing it for 70 years. Who were some of
72.
72. Who were some of your early accounts? Who were clients of yours back in the very beginning?
In the very beginning, Procter & Gamble was one of our accounts. They had a white floating soap called Ivory soap.
Right. That was the selling point. It would actually float in the bathtub or wherever you were bathing, I guess.
That's right. And they came to me one day and said that mothers washed the faces of the children, and they hated soap because their eyes were stinging from the soap, and that when people grew up, they wouldn't use any soap because they get conditioned in childhood, according to Freud, my uncle.
So you get ahead of yourself, but it's true, your uncle was Sigmund Freud.
And so we made a research, made a study, and we found a sculptor, Brenda Putnam, who used soap instead of wax in developing her sculpture. And it then occurred to me that if we could develop soap sculpture competitions, I went to a psychologist, and he said every child has a creative instinct. If we got some sculptors to be judges and had soap sculpture competitions for children in different age groups,
that would get them accustomed to using the soap.
That would get them to love soap.
Did it work?
Not only accustomed to it. The fascinating thing to me was that after the first year, 22 million children were loving soap, and the sale of soap just went up.
Well, if you say so.
This is a matter
of record. We could probably chart that.
Dow Jones reports.
Yeah.
You can look them up if you want.
In the introduction here, I mentioned some of your clients have been past presidents. Eisenhower, Coolidge, Hoover, Wilson. Which one of those people really was in desperate need of your services? Who was the dullest of the bunch that you handled?
Well, let me quickly tell you the Coolidge story. Harding had died, Coolidge became president, and Coolidge was running for president, decided to be president, and Alice Roosevelt Longworth, who was the daughter of Theodore Roosevelt, had started a bon mot, a few words, that went around the country as if by radio and by Letterman TV, and they called on me and said, we're worried that this may defeat Coolidge. Well, the phrase...
she was sort of bad-mouthing the candidate, in other words.
That's right.
What was she saying? Do you recall? Was she...
Oh, yes. She said that Coolidge had been weaned on a pickle.
Oh, yeah. That'll tip an election just like that. If word of that gets out...
So, I agree with you, because...
So now you were called in. You have to offset this man had a very dour image.
That's right.
Okay, now what did you do for Calvin?
I never use the word image because image is shadow. I use the word reputation or identity.
Okay, what did you do for his identity?
So I decided first that we should bring down Fannie Hurst, Edna Ferber, and other women writers of the period. And then I thought it would be a good idea to bring down some ecstatic dancers.
Ecstatic dancers.
Like the Dolly Sisters.
Uh-huh.
I don't
remember the Dolly. I've heard of them, but I never saw them.
And Al Jolson.
Entertainers, well-known figures of the day.
And 40 others. And at that time, anybody who was on the stage was a little bit off color. And Coolidge had breakfast with them, and when Slemp, his secretary, came up to him and said, there's a cabinet meeting going on and they need you, Mr. President, he said, I'm busy. And he got elected.
So this was to show that he was a regular sort of guy.
That's right.
All right.
And it did.
Doctor, we're running out of time here, but I do want to show this photo. You mentioned your uncle, Sigmund Freud, and maybe we can get a shot of this. And I'd like you to come back at another time, and we'll talk more about public relations and also about your famous family. But pick yourself out of this photo and also tell the people where Mr. Freud is.
Well, Sigmund Freud is on the right.
Right there.
And he is traveling...
That's you, isn't it?
That's me there.
And who's this guy right there?
10 years old. That's his brother.
That's his brother.
That's his brother.
You were 10 years old
my sister. I was 10 years old. It was 1901.
We have to... let me interrupt. We'll do a commercial. We'll be right back. We're coming back here. Well, that'll be a lot of fun. Now, come back and see us. Will you do that?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you very much for your time, sir. Have a good weekend. Well, no, don't leave now. That's it, folks. Have a nice weekend. Come back Monday. Thank you. Bye-bye.